So this is one of my favorite questions. Okay, so I'm being told that the judicial system will collapse pretty immediately. I'm being told the healthcare system is going to take a while to phase out because there's so many people who are attached to the healthcare system, and there's so many people with kind of like diseases and things like that that have to be treated, in the meantime. But they are saying the judicial system, obviously, because it's not really life threatening, like, people with chronic health issues and stuff like that is kind of like life threatening if they don't have like treatments and stuff. People with the judicial system, though, it's not. So basically what they have, so this is what they tell me about it. So we've all signed soul contracts, okay? Before we came down here, we all signed this concept of soul contracts. Dolores Cannon talks about this. Other psychics have talked about this. But it's something that they've really, really ingrained into my brain as a psychic, is this idea of soul contracts, that we sign these soul contracts before we came down here. It's actually the most famous line from The Matrix is referring to soul contracts, because the Oracle tells Neo, the most famous line from The Matrix, is you're not down here to figure out why you, hold on, wait, I always get this mixed up. You're not down here to make the choices. You are here to figure out why you already made them. So what that quote does is it makes you think like, okay, so then I already made these choices before I came down here, right? Well, that's the concept of a soul contract. So the aliens, when they come down, which is just us from the seventh dimension, I should probably start calling them humans, because that's really what they are. They're not really actually aliens. They're interdimensional beings, but they're humans. They're not technically aliens, the way that we think about aliens, but technically they are aliens. So I just keep calling them that, but it's really us. Anyway, they have advanced technology. That is the one thing that they're going to be bringing us, because the reason why they're bringing us the advanced technology is because in a parallel dimension, right? Because if you've heard about quantum physics, the multi-worlds interpretation theory, that theory states that all realities exist right now. Every reality you could possibly think of exists right now, somewhere in the multi-universe, right? Okay, so technically one of those realities would be this Earth right now with all the same people on it, but with no manipulation and no corruption. And so if that was the case, we would have all this advanced technology, because a lot of us wouldn't have been stifled or, held off by autoimmune disorders or held off by medical or being murdered or all this crazy shit that's happened to us down here, right? They've really stunted and manipulated us to an extent that, again, is something that we are not quite conceptualizing and we can't really quite get. A lot of us are really starting to get it with the Epstein files coming out and all this truth about McGraw-Hill, having control over kind of like our books and stuff, and then them doing all these experiments with pandemics and genetic modification and like all these strange things that they're doing. Bill Gates buying up all this land, Palantir and all this surveillance, all this stuff. We're like, well, this is all kind of starting to add up to like, I think we've been mass manipulated. We have. And that includes like stunting us from technology or things to advance us and evolve us as a species. They completely stunted our evolution. They've stunted our everything. I mean, they're trying to basically schmurder. Because how they view it is like it's like survival of the fittest. Like that's how they're viewing us right now. Like it's basically they're doing one big giant experiment to kill off like the weak links of society. That's what the deletes are doing right now. That's part of it. Which is why they like have done these like ICE centers and why they have divided us so horribly. So we stay distracted. That's part of it. Another part of it is because they want free prison labor and all this shit, right? And that's why they're locking them in the facilities and doing whatever the hell else, trafficking and all that crazy shit with them people. It's terrible. It's like literally horrible. I'm sorry, I'm going on a bit of a tangent because like I haven't even gotten to the judicial system, but I did want to give a little bit more context to this. And so this is going to be one of the first things that goes down. And so back to the soul contract, what they can do is they have these scanners. They call them density scanners. So they can do all sorts of things. One of the things that they can do is they can scan you and they can look up your entire soul contract. So they already know what every single 8 billion soul, every soul down here, they know what they signed up for. So there are people like me who are starseeds, who are psychics, who have like spiritual gifts. Anybody who's a leftist will most likely be free to roam in society. Your sole contract is that you don't really need to be detained because you have empathy, you have kindness, you have compassion, you have the ability to be safe around other people, you have the ability not to deceive people and lie. You have really detached from a lot of the programming, which a lot of blue people have. They've detached from the programming of, Republican, Christian, white supremacy, those types of things. They've detached from those systems. They have not detached from the government system, though. That's what blue people have not yet detached from, is that, actually this entire thing is manipulated. It's not just red people, it's blue people as well. Getting even, further, you really start to zoom out with each piece of awakening and deconstructing the system. You realize it doesn't matter what fucking side you're on. We're all manipulated terribly, horribly. Some of us are just less manipulated. So the people who are less manipulated and are kinder and shit like that, they're just going to be able to roam free. So the people who can't roam free, what we're going to do is we're going to take down prisons entirely. The prisons are not going to exist. What they've told me is there's going to be different levels of detainment. So the worst of the worst people with the worst neural pathways, like rapists, murderers, psychopaths. There are psychopaths that exist in this society. Totally psychopathic, right? Who have no ability to feel emotion, apathetic, try to, there's this this video I watched about this guy who ended up killing his little sister just to get his mom back. And he's very, his affect is very flat. There's all sorts of different types of people in this society right now. And so the worst of the worst are going to be detained in these buildings. All businesses are going to be shut down. All useless business shit, all at NASDAQ and the fucking Black Wall, or what the hell, Black Rock and the Wall Street and all that shit. That's all useless shit that we're wasting our time on. The economy is basically going to collapse. In a sense of we're not going to be using that shit anymore, and everybody's going to get universal basic income instead. So that's what I'm saying. Even if Wall Street goes down, everybody's going to go, oh my God, Wall Street is crashing, blah, blah, blah. And it's okay, but we literally have a replacement income. So yeah, we are going to switch the way, so it's actually really going to help poor people. Poor people are going to be stoked about universal basic income, but rich people are going to be really pissed because they're going to get a lot less, because they're only going to get enough for their basic needs to be met. So they're actually going to take a big fat pay cut. Because they should have been in the first place, fuckers. Anyway, I'm sorry. This is a little passionate, because I'm very excited about this topic. Because I'm I can't wait for this fucking system to go down. The fucking stupid prison system. Because all we do is throw people in these cages and we're here, we'll send you to college and give you a little bit of therapy and hope that you make it. And then they get out and they're fucking felons and they have no rights and they can't get fucking jobs. So anyway, and green cards and shit takes 20 years. It's just terrible. I can't stand it. So what they're going to do is they're going to put the extreme people in these building units. They're going to take all these people and we're going to convert these buildings into apartments. So there's going to be a lot of construction workers and stuff that are going to be needed immediately during New Earth as well, to come make these buildings and stuff. And then we're going to put the people in these buildings. So they're going to have their own apartment units. They're going to have ability to eat and, do all that stuff. It's going to be more humane than prison, but they are going to be completely confined. And then there's going to be another layer of people who don't have to go to prison systems, get to stay in their houses with their families, but they need to rewire and they need to go to school. They're safe citizens, but they're not deconstructed from the systems of oppression. So those types of people will be free to roam in society, on weekends and weeknights and things like that. It's if they were just going to work and school. So they do have to go to work and school. Extreme people, it's just school. They won't be working because they can't interact with the public. They're not safe to interact with the public. People who are safe to interact with the public, they will be going to work, and then they will be going to school as well. And then people who, it's same thing with the starseeds though. We're going to be working technically, but we're going to working helping people. That's our job. So it's not going to feel like work. And then we do also have to be mandated to go to school, but we're going to be in more advanced concept classes of how the planets are designed, how souls are seeded, how they were able to do the alien soul hybridization program, kind of the future of food and what they're gonna show us all the things they're gonna be doing, how they're healing the ground, because they show me they have all this technology to heal the earth and get shit out of our water, and how they're gonna clean up our food, and they're really gonna be, it's gonna take a while to transition, but they're really gonna be focusing on food and getting everybody safe. Safety, food, and basic needs is going to be like the first thing. Then we're going to move into like more advanced concepts of like, okay, how are we going to run this? And then we're going to go into the government because there's going to be a bigger government system. And it's going to be just normal everyday citizens. It's going to be completely incorruptible. That's what they're going to do. They're going to come down here and like, because they have these scanners and all this advanced technology, it cannot be corrupted because they can already see what we've all agreed to. They can already see like where you're at and shit like that. And they can see if you agreed what your neural pathways are at, and it's mostly your soul age. That's what determines where you go.